Hey, welcome back, shop rats. Today here in the shop, we're back on the Stitches Challenger. We're going to be working on fixing the screw up that I did here when I did this transmission cross member hoop. Let's watch the show intro. We'll see you in about 30 seconds. This is my car's shop.
Working out of a 100-year-old refurbished barn, bringing 35 years of experience to projects considered beyond repair. Vision, creativity, and problem solving are essential tools in this place. Watch as we transform junk into polished metal miracles. This is my car's shop.
Just as a review, this was an area that I had kind of fabricated. This is a piece of hoop that I had cut out of a duster or a dart 20 years ago that I've just had kicking around. Thought it was going to work, and it is going to work, but it doesn't allow clearance in here for the shift rods. We need to move this in 3/4 of an inch or so. So I've just been sitting here plotting and planning exactly how I'm going to do that. I think I have the game plan. So all we can do is try and see how it goes. So I'm going to go get my Sawzall, which I now have back, and make a couple of cuts, and then we'll start trying to figure out the best way to put this back together again. And then we'll check it with the tail shaft of the 4-speed and the shifter and all the stuff that we have now, so we know everything is just copacetic and not so pathetic. So I got our piece tacked back together again over on the bench because this broke off anyway. And I've just been lining it up here, trying to figure out some way how to clamp it. And I'm realizing that I probably need to just tack it in there. I'll just hold it and it should go. So I'm going to go get some gloves, and hopefully this is going to work. So we'll put the cross member in after we're not going to fill this gap yet. But we'll get the cross member and the shifter rods and all the hoo-ha and so forth back in there and see how she goes. But we just got a tack weld here and a tack weld here for now. Got some filling to do. I may take this back out of the car once I'm sure it's going to work. To do this work, probably won't. Probably just use the brass technique, put a little piece of brass behind there and fill. I don't know, you'll see it when I do it. Why do I got to explain it to you? Golly, all I do is ever just talk and talk and talk and talk. One of the problems I got is I've cleaned the shop thoroughly and put stuff away, and I have no idea where anything is. Now I got to go find everything. So that's so about 45.6 minutes, and I found everything. It was all in one spot. Everything was together except for the cross bolt for the transmission mount. So I found a piece of threaded rod. This is going to work. It's the right size. So that'll do that job, and I'll just pick up a new bolt. It's around here somewhere. So I did pick up a new tranny mount. I think in the last episode we had talked that I didn't have the right tranny, or the tranny mount was a little bit sloppy. So I kind of got to thread this in there, so it'll take me a second, but we'll get this put on the cross member, and then we'll get that set up in the car. And this one piece is still missing here, and that's okay. We'll get that in there in a bit, but I want to more check the clearance of the shift rods with this here to make sure that we're good. Okay, so now we just gotta kind of get that in there where it belongs to be, about there. Figure out how to hold that in position, and then check our shift rods. But I think we're in much better shape now. I hope we are. We'll see. Time will tell. So I gotta kind of ballpark it here. I don't have my blue tape roll, but this is about where it goes, and the rods go like up in here. And we've got a good 1/2 inch to 1 inch of clearance there easily. So as long as that inner one clears, we're good. So now I got to figure out how to kind of put all this together and make it work. You know, the other thing, if I had to, I could space this shifter back this way a little bit more. So I think we're going to be fine. You know, it would be easy enough to put some shims in between the shifter and the adapter plate if it's a little bit off. So as long as the shift rods are straight, which they look like they are. I mean, the way they're designed, they kind of come out at an angle like this. And I really wanted 1/2 to 3/4 of an inch. So I think we're good. Now I just got to figure out how to, of course, if I could throw that straight, it would be nice. But now I just got to figure out how to kind of piece all this back together again. And we'll go from there. So, yeah. So I dragged out the other cross member so I can just leave that whole thing assembled. And now I can start to fit this piece in here and figure out exactly what has to happen. So that's cool. Of course, I gotta find it. That's just a bit tight, so I gotta spread this open a bit. I squeezed this shut a bit. We're close. Get a squeezer, give it a little tweakage. There we go. Not quite there yet. We're getting there. Except that's the wrong one. This is the one that goes here. Oh. Okay, so I just got to figure out how to tie these two things together. Down in there like so. It's a like that go. It's a in there. Too far. Too far. Close enough. Gonna line grind that up a little bit and then figure it out. Show you what we got. So I just welded in a temporary brace here so I know where everything goes. We'll cut that out of there. But now I can take this cross member out and start reconstructing all of this to get it to follow the flow and everything that we need. I may just get one more brace on there once the cross member's out and then take it and just cut the 2 welds that are holding it in place. And take it over to the bench, build this whole thing, and then put it back in the car. We'll see. But that's what I did anyway. It's hard to show you that, so I thought I'd show you after the fact. I think what I need to do is take and just trim this back like this. You can bend this piece up some, but I'm going to put a piece from here up over once I get this trimmed back like this. And we'll just flow that over like that, and we should be good to go. That should work. And yeah, I got to think about that a little more. Then there'll be a piece on the inside, so it's double walled. But I think the place to start is right there first. So we'll get that done, and then we'll go from there. So I got a little piece of 18, I think this is 18 gauge here that's going to fit nice. So we'll kind of lay it in there like that, and then I will we'll just form a nice little bend on it to get around there. We won't be able to do that in the pipe end, but we'll have to do it in the vise. Tink, 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 tink. So, but that's going to fit in there good, and that's a good start to this. So, one little bite forward. See which way's the best way to do this. So I kind of cut the piece square, because it's hip to be a square. Yeah, that's pretty good there, I think. We'll have a little trimmage to do here. We'll take care of that. But I think that's good. So let's get that kind of trimmed up there and stuff, eh? So you can see now we got that bent there nicely. We'll mark out where we got to grind and stuff like that. And then we'll take this piece in here once I get this on here, and we'll probably tink that down a little bit. But maybe we won't, but we'll still have to probably put another piece on the inside for extra strength. And we got a little filling to do here and here. It's kind of Captain Caveman, but at this point, you know, we got to make it work. So that's the key. All right, let's get some paint on there. Okay, got a piece in there, and I realized I got a little zealous. Made that go way up there when that needs to be clear, so I'll have to cut that back out, but that's no big deal. We'll get that done here in just a second. But I think before I do that, I'm going to go ahead and get this filled in here first. And I may even leave that for now and go ahead and get that piece out. That will help. Well, I already know where that's got to be, so it's no big deal. But yeah, I got ahead of myself thinking about strength and so forth, and you know, just yeah, I did that. So yeah, it is what it is. Okay, now we got our little piece there all put in. So I'm going to leave that side alone for now, and we'll flip this over and start doing lather, rinse, and repeat. But we'll take this piece off here and then get a couple pieces made up just like we did on the other side. So this is coming together nice, and of course we got to go back and check it in the car before we get too carried away. But yeah, she's doing pretty good there. but it's getting there, stitched together. So probably have to do a little trimming in here. Definitely got to do that trimming over there. So I think that's the next step. Is we'll go here and get this trimmed up that I screwed up, and then we can go fit it in the car before we go ahead and do the rest of the final welding on this piece. But I think it's coming together good. I'm maybe going to weld a little bit in here. I'm not sure yet. I probably will, but maybe not. I don't know. We'll see. So it doesn't really need that double layer. That was just the way that I built it. But, you know, one step at a time. Okay, so she's all welded up and grounded up, and forgot to turn the heat up there, so I ended up with a bigger bead than I wanted, but that's fine. It's holding. Ran out of wire on the wire welder, so I got to go out, and I think Becky has a new spool in her car that she got for me, so go grab that, and I think we can go ahead and get this put in the car next. We're that far along, so things are looking good. Some of you guys were asking me just recently what wire I use. This is, I'm not sure the brand, Best Welds. It's a 23 thousandths MIG wire. I find for the metal work, it does pretty well. And I can still weld some pretty hefty stuff with it if I need to. But overall, this does a good job. Becky works for a manufacturing company. They do a ton of welding, mostly on aluminum. But they're a reputable, the place where they buy their stuff is a very reputable company in the area. So I just get my materials through them. Okay, I think we're like ready to try to put that in there, eh? So I've got it tacked in place on this side, and of course the bolts kind of hold it in place on this side. So instincts tell me I better get the tail shaft and the cross member that I actually stitched together, slip it in here, make sure everything is copacetic, make sure the shift rod's clear, and then once I'm 100% sure of that, we're going to go ahead and weld this bugger in there 100%. I'm kind of annoyed that I have to go through and double check everything again, but you know, better to do it one more time and then have to cut everything back out again because I did it wrong. So I'm guessing I'm going to have to do a little clearancing up there, but otherwise I think we're in good shape, so we should be fine. But let's, yeah, there it is. We'll get that assembly stuffed in there and see what we got. Just made sure all the bolt holes are lining up. I ran a drill bit through. This one was back here, was tight. So I think the next step, I'm going to take and grind that off just a little bit on the top right there. And we're going to go ahead and get this welded into the cross member here. And then I'll weld it over there on the top. So that's done. And then we can pull the tranny out of there and get it the rest of the way. But we're good. Everything's fitting good. I checked the clearance on the 2-3 shift rod or 3-4 shift rod, and it's got about a 1/2 inch of clearance. The other thing is this does have that for the tunnel. It has that shift box that goes on there, and I think when I make that, I'm going to make it so that it attaches either with screws or with Zeus fasteners or something, so that it can be removed, so that down the road, if there's ever a problem with this shifter, I can get at it easily from the top. So I'll make it a little bit of engineering in there. I've got all the dimensions from the guys over at ebodies.org to make that piece that goes on the top. And of course, you know, we already have all of these floor pans done. We were just waiting to get all this done. So this is really huge progress. So let's go ahead and get this welded up from the top side. And then we'll get the car spun back up, pull that out of there and get it welded up from the bottom side. And yeah, it'll be all done. We'll just have to finish it up. I just had to put the pistol grip shifter in one more time just because I could. Because I don't know if I remember if I put it in here with the wooden handles on it or not. So now I did. But isn't that pretty? Oops, I got it in there upside down like a dummy. I don't know why I do that. Okay, that's better. Wow, that thing is way back there now because that tranny's tipped it up. But I was reading the numbers on the top of the pattern going, oops, that's not right. So that's cool. Yeah, that should work well. Picturing the seat being right here, and of course that'll be tipped up more. And I can't wait to put the seats in this and sit in there and act like I'm 8 years old going, bang, bang, bang. just like that, it's done. A little grinding to do, a little fitting to do. I will get to that another day. I'm out of time today. Becky and I have somewhere we have to be. But it's in there. We have clearance now for the 4-speed rods right there. It clears the tail shaft of the transmission fine. So I think we're good. It's all by gosh and by guess, but like I said, if I make the floor pan so that it's removable, the shifter hump floor part, and give myself plenty of access to get in there and modify something if I need to, we'll be fine. But I think we've got a good 1/2 inch of clearance on those shift rods now, so I don't think it's going to be a problem. Obviously stuff needs to shake around and so forth, but also that motor mount or that transmission mount that I bought is pretty much a piece of garbage, so I'm probably going to order a polyurethane one somewhere. But it's good progress, and I'm happy with that. One small step for mankind, another big step on stitches. That's been weighing on me for quite a while. So I'm really glad to have that done. It's a good job done. All right, that's going to do it for this one. I appreciate you being here, guys and gals. We're over on the Face thing. We're over on the Insta thing, / My Car Shop. We're here on the U thing. Like the video, subscribe to the channel, hit the bell so you receive those notifications. And one more thing. It's really important, and you don't want to ever forget, no matter what's going on in life.
Rock!